the sweet, soft sound of Mr. Amon Tobin.
Pretty deadly in a virtual sort of way. Ninja tune. This is the sleazy area of town. Just up here, past all the sex clubs, you've got some amazing record shops. And seeing as most of what I do is sampling, then it makes a lot of sense for me to be just really near where I can get some raw material.
If you listen to the record, you can reflect at the same time because it's electronic music mixed with lots of jazz. So for me, it's just very, very more modern music.
His style is probably closest to being cubist, maybe, in the sense of art, that it's kind of put together with weird angles.
What he does with his music and the way that he melds samples together is so unique, it's so extraordinary. There's virtually no one on the face of this planet who achieves sonically what he is doing.
Ever since the first record, Amon's been mixing sort of organic jazz, live drums, and like a darker element to what he does.
His music can seem confrontational, but at the same time it's always dancey.
So I was in front mostly of the show, and it was great just dancing and watching everything. It was cool.
Amon has this fantastic mystery about him. In a similar way that the old bluesmen did, the old jazzmen, bands like Led Zeppelin. He's about as far removed from a superstar DJ as it's possible to be.
One of the things that attracted me to this kind of music in the first place was that it was quite faceless, and it wasn't about the personality behind the music as much as it was about the music. That's a wicked car. That's my, it's got propellers on the back. Just drives straight in the canal, how cool. I moved here about 3 months ago. Just wanted to try it out for a year, see what it's like. Traditionally, I think it's meant to be quite arty because, well, a lot of artists came here just because artists don't have much money, and the rent was really cheap here. They had each one of these cylinders shut off, and then you'd get, someone would send a sound in and they'd record the reverb through one of them, and then they'd open up the shutter and then have it just getting bigger and bigger. They could have the whole thing opened up so you get a massive reverb. Pretty cool, really. My limited experience of Hollywood. I went down there and I met various ponytails in trendy lunch spots across town, and we had meetings and lots of lunch. You're supposed to cut your teeth on stuff if you make music in Hollywood. I don't know exactly what they mean, but yeah. It's a weird, yeah, you have to touch base and cut your teeth a lot. These are my decks. Laptop where I make most of my music. Breakfast. My records over there. I was born in Brazil.
We moved when I was very young to Europe and then back to Brazil and then back to Europe again. I've lived most of my life in England. I definitely regard myself as Brazilian, but it doesn't really affect what I do from day to day.
The tours for Out From Out Where, my new album, it's easily the best one I've done. Isn't that what Spielberg always says after his movies? Yeah, no, it's cool. I put a lot of hard work and heart and soul into it, and I'm very, very proud of it.
Yeah, your shots of you actually working?
No, this is just for show.
When I was 15, we'd listen to hip-hop and we'd go and we'd have burns with Bex Hill on the weekends down at Out of This World discotheque. It was, yeah, a very cool scene. Yeah. This is our tour bus. We're going to be on there for the next few weeks. It's going to be very cool. Go up and down America and Canada. I'm acting like I'm working.
This is purely for show.
We didn't know what that was all about. We'd watched Beat Street, you know, and had lots of cassettes from Detroit and New York, because all the electro stuff as well was filtering down.
I was in Portugal for a couple of years, and I came back to England just as jungle was really kicking off, and I think that's when I decided I wanted to get a sampler, because samplers were the way music was being made.
So do you think they have any pumpkins?
What's that?
I thought it was a great sound, and I loved the way the bass hit you as well, and yeah, excellent music.
This is Tuesday, it must be Ottawa.
Hanging with crazy British people, banging, like intense.
Every time a new record comes out, you've got hardcore Amon fans out there and new people all the time checking out his stuff. So I think with every record he keeps doing something new and keeps it interesting.
He seems to be the only person that's really pushing it into these areas and really sort of taking it over the sort of experimental boundaries, but still retaining, you know, a lot of melody and a lot of rhythm and keeping it, you know, it really makes sense.
Montreal! Huh? Nah. Sorry. The French generally have quite a strong tradition with music, especially electronic music and sample-based music. I suppose almost music science. I'm interested in taking sounds that have had a different use before in another piece of music and trying to change the direction of that sound and make it into something else. I don't feel like a grown-up at all. I wonder if I'll ever feel like a grown-up. When you're a kid, you do look at grown-ups and think that they're in control of the situation and that they're really well organised and at least have all the answers to all the questions that, you know, you want answered. And I think when you get older, you realise that your parents were winging it the whole time and that you were just fumbling your way around as well and trying to make sense of it all.
It's a completely different experience to the sort of UK clubs. This is kind of treated more like a rock show, like a performance. You know, there's just people just standing watching and then applauding at the end.
I'd really like to just keep on making music for as long as possible. I'd like to be one of these old men that still makes music, you know, that doesn't have a proper job, just sort of does that. If I can get away with doing that till I'm an old man, then I'll be very, very happy.